And I want to go into the next topic. What we want here, like I told you, we're doing different things right today. So this is something we're calling disjointed art, and this is why we did it this way, because when the president made his announcement, he covered artists, musicians, and actors and actresses. But what about the dancers? What about the DJs? What about the comedians? What about content creators? All of that. Joining us for this conversation is the man with the healthiest body in the world. Kijana akona kitambi na ataweza Jugush mwenyewe. Karibu tena sana kwenye 10 over 10.
Yes, mambo vipi?
Uko salama?
Nawabeba.
Utawezana. Hapo sawa. Shout out to you and thank you so much for joining us. And also Mr. Moriasi joins us as well. Moriasi, habari yake? All right, we don't have it, but also have DJ Case is going to be joining this conversation as well as CrossFit is also going to be here. But Case, African Muzungu, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Amazing mixes over there as well. And we have Moriasi now, and Moriasi also joins us. Moriasi, vipi?
Yeah, bro.
All right, but Jugush, I want to start with you because you are I know people are still wondering what is an artist, and we'll come to that. But you have the amazing element ya kwamba uko na rafiki in the same industry, Abel Mutua, Kinafilo, all of you guys are friends. But I want to ask, are all artists friends amongst each other like you guys are? Is it something that is applied across the field? Actors, actresses, are they all friends business wise? That is, what are you marafiki?
Thank you very much for that question. I'd say it's yes and no. Yes, because you'll find there's a clique of people, there's a group of people who for purposes of working together, they come out bigger and better when they work together. So they are friends by that virtue. They hang out together. You see them on social media hanging out. So by that virtue, it works. Because there are some people you'd want to work with, but haigiani. Ni kama tu ndoa. Una watu unakaa nao miezi mbili haiwezi work. Yeah. So for that virtue, they are friends, and they are those. But there are also other people who are not friends. They are seemingly competing, but at the end of the day, they are in the same industry, which is, I think, it's healthy. Because now when you consider, like, for example, when we have a beef of a hip-hop artist and another hip-hop artist, I think that gives fodder for the guys who are rapping and whatnot. So I'd say yes and no. Yes, we have friends in the industry. At the same time, we don't have friends. There are some people who are our platonic for some reason or the other. All
right. Moriasi, what do you think? Because the biggest thing is then, if artist, because the president said artist, then akasema musician, then akasema actors and actresses. So for you, who is an artist? What does the term artist even cover?
I mean, the president in his statement said artists, musicians. I think we shouldn't take it in the sense that he was being specific that there's artists, there's musicians. I think within the speech, he was just being general. So artist is someone who creates art, right? Anyone who engaged in the activity of creating and perpetuating art. So anyone who's in the creative industry is an artist per se. But there's the other term, which is artiste. The one is A-R-I-S-T, artiste. And that one.
Oh, looks like Moriasi's phone is ringing.
Yeah, sorry, but a professional entertainer, especially a singer, an actor, and a performer. So those are the specific definitions, like legally, so to say, in terms of artists.
Case, I want to bring you in as well in terms of just the fact that DJs, I guess, I don't know if they were not mentioned. So artists, earlier on we were talking to Fresh, and he talked about there's an association about what, 20,000, 19,000 musicians, about 10,000 actors. Do DJs have an association? Ama just for the WhatsApp groups?
I know that an association exists, but for a bunch of reasons for issues that honestly I don't even really know the intricacies of. But it's not been as fully functioning as I think we'd want it to be. You know, in the history of other issues, we've come together in other ways. So I know moving forward, something that we've been discussing in many groups and something that's being very seriously taken now is actually getting an association like this together, because of course there's a lot of DJs who, you know, when you're talking about in-house DJs or like mobile DJs, who all of a sudden, because of this whole situation, have like nothing. No work, nothing, it's gone. So these people deserve to have some sort of, you know, support system. So we're trying to get that together.
All right, back to you, Jugush, as well. I know there are comedians who are actors, but then there are also those who do content creation like you do yourself as well. And that is entertaining because the idea, as the tweet by Ian Bugu alisema kwamba President amesema watu wapewe pesa ndio sasa tuwa entertain mkiwa katika COVID-19. So when you know you're doing your content creation and stuff, is it the same? Is there a different association for content creators? Should they have been included in these monies going forward? What do you feel about that?
First, I think we need to put systems and structures in place, because now when we talk about the money that was apparently that is going to be given out to artists, I think unless we have proper channels, there's no way that money can reach you. So like, for example, for actors, I was first an actor before I became a content creator online. For actors, I know we have Actors Guild, and it takes care of a number of things, but most of these associations always come through whenever someone passes. And I'm sorry to say that. So that's when you see guys coming together, lighting candles. It's okay. But I think now going forward, we need to strengthen them in such a way that they can advocate for the rights of, say, the actors. When it comes to content creators, we don't have that. We don't have a regulating body for us that can be, like, for example, if today we were told we are going to be taxed as online content creators, how is that going to be? Do we have a platform to stand up and say, no, you cannot tax us because first we operate as a company and we are taxed there? But, you know, so we need to get structures in place so that, because what we do, I consider what I do as more of informal sector. It's not formal. So when we're talking of welfare, it's more or less you are alone. So when I think structures and associations are quite important. And as I was saying, for actors, we have the Actors Guild, and they have a support group where, for example, they tell where positions are on, which is very important. So if we had more of those for every category, like, for example, the court who stands for a certain people. So, and it takes care of their needs. What of us? When it comes to Labor Day, do we, you know, we are neither here nor there. And that's why unasikia when 100 million imetoka, Papa Omoro anataka 90 million, hatuna structures. Sasa tunasema tu hata apatiwa yote. You know, hatuna structures. But I'd say this, it is important because hiyo pesa imeleta siasa, but it's artist money. Ni sisi hapa tulikuwa tunacheka Omoro akitumiwa 3,000. Anatumia 3,000. You know, but it's their money. What needs now to be taken care of is other sectors. I don't know if the government is ready. That is the low-hanging fruit that was there. Ilikuwa, kuna hii 100 million umekuwa mkiwekea wasanii wapatiwe. But what of other issues? Na tena akaguza ile ingine, ile ya corruption, ikaguzwa. So it needs to be 360 because everyone in this period needs to be taken care of.
Yeah, and I guess also thinking about those structures which doesn't exist, and there are different forms of people. Moriasi, how then do we make all this? How do you form such a group? Because it begins with also some sort of unity. How do we make art unified? How do we get all these art content creators? How do we get them recognized? How do we get DJs recognized? Do we form one big body, or do the bodies existing come together? How do you think we should do it?
So there's a number of ways. First of all, it's societies and associations. There are a number. Problem is, the number is, the issue is there are number, but they're not well organized. Now, with musicians, there was the Kenya Alliance of Music Associations. And that encompassed music associations from all 8 regions, like Coast, Nairobi, Eastern, Southern. But when it comes to the policy making, they don't meet regularly, they don't push for policy, they don't lobby for things like definitions, such like the artist definition in things like the Copyright Act. The other thing is associations usually zinapatana na siasa mingi. People want to be the chairman of these associations, people want to be in charge of the collections, in charge of such things. So sometimes you find there's a breakdown in this organization and the structure of these associations. I think a way of people finding themselves in a form of unity is to create one big union. Right? People to come together and create a union. And these unions should be simply divided into, there's musicians, there's actors, there's like Kotu and teachers, there's DJs, and then we have content creators. And so that when this happens, people can now start striking an understanding when it comes to what they need to do, how they need to do, what policies are best for them, what their structures will be. And then in that, they can start lobbying government and government organizations and the ministries and start creating policy around them. And when it comes to things like let's say, I'll give an example. Like artists had a...
You've mentioned a very valid point there in terms of there is normally a clamor whenever you want to form this organization, because that's going to be something very huge to kind of put everybody in one place or to have it structured down. Jugush, wacha nikuulize pia, just at the same way as Moriasi amesema, pesa, there are people who want to manage pesa. If you ever want to bring a dispute among friends anywhere, let a mambo ya pesa. So what do you think one of the structures should be like? Who should manage these monies and the distribution of the same?
Okay. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking about the university or college or even the school students association. Like, for example, when you look at the UON, it's a big issue when it comes to election, you know, and it's a big issue. They are funded, and all this is because we have structures, we have treasurers, we have proper structures. Whenever we have such, I think there is a whenever we have structures, when it comes even to handling of money and actually getting even sources and avenues for money, it's going to be easy. Because if you tell me you cut my 10K from my monthly whatever acting to a part of that to go to that association, I want to know what it's doing, and it's so human to know where your money is going. So and also another thing, for these associations also to have nguvu fulani. Like, for example, I've given an example about the students association in uni and whatnot, how they work. The government, like, for example, now the money that is coming in, if we had structures between now the association and the government, it's going to be easy. People will sign up. People will want to join the association, because I know of actors who are not in the Actors Guild. They'd want to join that association because there are some things which are coming. Because if, for example, the government of Japan decided wanataka kujenga theater ABCD kusimama na this association, we don't have structures. So until that moment when we group ourselves and we put constitutions, we are working constitutions, mtu amepelekwa koti sababu ya ABCD, that's a structure. And that's the only way, unless we regroup and form a proper structured association. That's the only way it takes part.
All right. Well, you know, it's something that we're definitely going to keep on talking about. I know, I want to say a big thank you to Moriasi, a big thank you also to DJ Case. Case, we're going to keep you because we're doing Fire or Retire next, and you're still going to be mixing as well. We want your views on the music as well. Jugush, tunaomba pia usalimie Wakavinye.
Nitamsalimia sana Wakavinye.
Ako happy, ako happy.
Salimika.
Nimesalimika.
Nikuulize Wakavinye, utawezana?
Well, another question, please.
Thank you very much. Make sure you follow Jugush, Blessed Jugush on Instagram. Very funny man, the healthiest man. Ako na kitambi hata